Hello everyone, and welcome to another day of NGS action. Now, we are going to be here today with the B East quarterfinal, the final one actually, and this will be between seed number 1 Équipe versus seed number 8 Fundamentals. Now, if we take a quick look here over at the standings first of all, just to kind of get an idea of where these two teams have been. Fundamentals are in 8th with 9 points, and Équipe first with 35. They've had an amazing season. They have definitely been the team to beat, and I mean, to be completely honest, I do think this matchup is definitely going to be pretty favored towards Équipe, just with the past being anything to go off of. And if we take a quick look over at the bracket, this is the final quarterfinal. Everything else is going to be on the semifinals. So if you want to make sure to watch those games, be sure to leave a follow for Nexus Gaming Series and Nexus Gaming Series 2. Every semifinal and final will be played on those two channels. But yeah, with this, Équipe and Fundamentals are going to have their nice best-of-5 playoff match, with the winner taking on Protectors of Ayer in the semifinals. Now, map pick and ban has already come through, and Équipe has selected the map pick. So they will ban away Garden of Terror and Cursed Hollow. Fundamentals are going to ban away Dragonshire and Towers of Doom, with map number 1 being Alterac Pass. Now, I really like these bans, at least from the point of view of a caster. These are going to be a lot of those big macro maps getting removed, and this will kind of enable just a lot of fighting coming through. This is my favorite part of HOTS. I mean, this is why people love HOTS. Way more team fighting, way less downtime compared to most of the other MOBAs. Well, really, compared to every single other MOBA. But yeah, Alterac Pass definitely going to be a fun map. It's still a pretty macro-centered one, but slightly more emphasis on fighting. But yeah, we'll see how these two teams do. And both sides are already in the lobby, so we should be getting started shortly. But before we do, quick shout out to today's sponsor, HelloFresh. Subscribe to HelloFresh and use code POGHF160868 for 10 free meals and free add-ons for life. 1 item per box with active subscription if you're in the US. And outside the US, the local discount will apply. And this code works in any country that HelloFresh operates in. So if you've been on the fence, be sure to give it a try. I've been using it for a couple years. I highly recommend it. But with that being said, the draft is going to be getting started right now. We're already in a very good spot for it. But yeah, first pick is going to be for Fundamentals, as I probably should get a prediction going. Oh, I can even do the accent. Look at that. I'm fancy. Right, well, there we go. But the prediction is live, and we are going to be in that first draft. Now, I'm not sure how this is going to go, but I heard there was a little bit of a change in roster for Fundamentals. One of their players, unfortunately, could not make it today. And, in fact, this series almost didn't even happen. I was told this morning that this series was just straight up canceled. Either a forfeit or a reschedule, and then I was told literally like 20 minutes ago that, hey, we actually can start. Do you still want to cast? And I'm like, of course I want to still cast. But what else would I be doing right now? But yeah, with that, the first few bans are going to be coming through. It is going to be the Anduin ban and the Stukov ban. So right now, both teams kind of targeting those healers. And the Anduin ban, I do think it definitely closes out a lot of compositions. I mean, Genji is pretty common on Alterac Pass as well. There's a lot of other picks that Light Bomb combos are just work with basically any tank. You can pick the Muradin, you can do the Anubarak, you can even do it with the Sonya off lane. The the Leoric from the off lane as well. Like, there's just a lot of options. So removing that hero makes a ton of sense. But now Falstad and Variant also going to be in the next set of bans. The global from the Falstad is especially annoying on All-Track Pass, but I am a little bit surprised about the Variant. Typically, the Variant Stukov combo is pretty dangerous, but you only see one ban, not both. So I'm wondering if there is someone on Fundamentals that's just a very strong Variant player, or if maybe this is just one of those tilt heroes that Lefty and Équipe just do not want to play against no matter what. But first pick is going to be the Brightwing going over to Lady Ronin. Now, again, we were talking about globals, and Brightwing has that phase shift, is able to heal across the map, can even catch some CS over in the off lane if they do want to start bringing their entire team to a play. As we see Jaina and Muradin getting locked in for La Fine Équipe. Jaina going to be piloted by Malthix, and Muradin going to be locked in by Rebirth. So this is already a pretty... I mean, so far it's pretty normal for both of these sides, but Ragnaros also definitely good on this map and does have a ton of burst damage coming in from the offlane, but definitely not a big meta pick that we typically see. But I do like it for Alterac Pass that Lava Wave can definitely help out with wave maintenance if you're behind, or just adding a ton of pressure when you're ahead. And if there is a teamfight happening in a lane, Lava Wave does an absurd amount of damage. Like, it's surprisingly really good for teamfights, but it's very situational where you actually get any value out of it. But hopefully we'll be able to see that, as Ronin is going to be locking in the Anubarak. So they have pretty strong engage, they have pretty strong burst. Ragnaros does so much damage, especially if they're able to get right on top of the target, and Anubarak is pretty good at locking down that individual target, so I expect to see some big DPSs coming out from Rock Ripper 21. But Vala going to be the third ban for La Fine Équipe, and the final ban of the game is going to be the Dahaka coming out of Fundamentals. Just trying to remove all of those globals. They took the Brightwing, Falstad's removed, Dahaka's removed. And Dahaka is just a solid offlaner anyway. Typically can go pretty well into Ragnaros as well, has a very fast push, but it looks like La Fine Équipe didn't really look at Dahaka, or if they did, they quickly decided against it. Or they quickly decided on another option since Dahaka was banned, but Ana going to get locked in for Elega, and Malthael going to get locked in for Trad. So Malthael is a little bit interesting here. Now, Ragnaros and Anubarak, they are definitely two frontliners, and Malthael's good into frontliners. But specifically, Malthael's good into those high HP heroes. And Anubarak is kind of that shield tank, and the magic armor tank isn't really one of those high HP tanks that we typically see out of like the Muradin, to some extent, Mei, Joanna, and of course Diablo, which is the biggest HP tank. I don't know why I saved him for last, but it's definitely going to have a little bit less effectiveness coming out from the Malthael. But I mean, it's still a solid pick, still really good at team fighting, can definitely finish some people off with those last rights. As we see Kelthus locked in for Tantrum and Sylvanas for Stixa. And the final pick, and this is an interesting one, the Phoenix for Mesos. So I really like the Sylvanas from Stixa. I think Sylvanas and Nubrak is definitely going to open up a lot of push potential for the side of Fundamentals. I am a little bit worried for La Fine Équipe. They don't have a super solid frontline to engage. They don't have a lot of crowd control, which could be difficult later on, but either way, the drafts are done. It's time to head into game number 1. All right, and here we are in game number 1 between La Fine Équipe and Fundamentals. Now, La Fine Équipe gonna be the number 1 seed playing over on this left to blue side, while Fundamentals, the number 8 seed, gonna be playing over on the right. Now, again, just a reminder, this is a best of 5. This is no longer the normal best of 3s that we see in NGS. There's gonna be at least 3 games here, and hopefully more. But right now, looking over at the lane starts, already seeing a little bit of interesting things. We do see Rock River 21 going to be starting over to the top side, but Mesos immediately looking to get started over on the bot lane. And it does seem like that's where they're going to go. So it's going to be a 1-3-1 setup for La Fine Équipe, as Chad also runs up to the top side. So La Fine Équipe just going to be holding with 3 so far. I think a good chunk of that play was slightly to prevent any kind of cheese play coming out of Stixa. Obviously, when you have that Sylvanas, it does open up the opportunity to maybe get an early cannon tower in a wave. And Elaine get a little bit of that extra experience early on. But fundamentals, they're playing patiently. They're playing smart. But right now, this could be interesting. Stixa just going to be walking up and with Rock Ripper getting onto Trad. A lot of damage already. Definitely going to be forcing out the well at the very least. Then immediately going to use the black arrows as well. So actually playing pretty smart with this. Now Trad going to take even more damage there. Shadow Dagger going to be thrown as well. But now Malthix is here. Elegar is here as well. So they are going to have 3v2 over in the top lane. Left in Équipe, they definitely have the numbers. They have the sleep dart. Rock Ripper going to be in a bad spot. And actually is going to remove all the healing. So the Phase Shift not going to be able to help out. And Lady Ronin going to go down. And that's first blood going over to Lafine Keep. And really, really solid. I don't even know what this ability is called, but the Biotic Grenade coming out from the Ana, just preventing the entire heal from that Phase Shift. So much value just going to be gone. And if that heal did go through, I think Fundamentals could definitely look to turn and definitely look to fight that. But because of that Biotic Grenade, they just did not have the health for it. They had to leave Lady Ronin behind, or they had to let Rock River 21 go. But either way, that was going to be a guaranteed first blood coming in for Lafine Keep. But now both sides are getting started on their siege camps. Trad going to finish off the one on the left side. And Six and Lady Ronin about to finish off the one on the right. So those two siege camps, those two sets of gnolls going to be pushing down in the mid lane. And actually, Mezzos with a solo kill behind the wall. Definitely was not expecting that, but that's also going to be another massive kill for them. And that's going to be a huge wave that's, well, not a huge wave, but like a full wave that's going to crash. And the soak is going to get missed on the side of Fundamentals. Now Trad still going to be able to maintain the wave here. Has a lot of self-sustain in the kit, and I think that's definitely going to help in this matchup versus Rock Ripper, as over in the mid lane, the left set of gnolls are going to get removed, but the siege camp is still alive for Fundamentals. Not super healthy, but now they're looking for it. They have the Bro Charge. They have the Impale as well on a Malthus, but it's a 4v3. Trad is here as well, turning on a Ronin. They have a couple damage. Stormbolt is going to land, and they also have the anti-heal there. And with the Phase Shift, Ronin is going to be back to full HP, and Rebirth actually takes a lot of damage there, but again, with that trait, I should learn the name. I call it out so much. With the second win, going to be able to heal right back up in no time. And now Ronin going to be out on the top side. And actually, Rock Ripper took down a good chunk of this wall while Trad was gone. There's just going to be a little bit left on that cannon tower. But other than that, that wall has completely been removed. Now the prisoner camps have spawned. I don't expect either of these two teams to really go for it right away. I think there's still going to be a little bit of time before either of them decide that it's worth it before they're even able to do it. As now Tantrum going to go down to the bot lane as Rebirth and Mezzos going to be able to come in and just get a very quick pick off. And now this should enable them to start going for this camp, for this prisoner camp, I should say. But now Ronin's still in the waves, trying to prevent them from getting the channel. And as they're doing that, Trad looking for the siege camp on the left side. But this is being answered on the top side. The black arrows have been cast by Stixa and Rock Ripper. They're already looking for this wall. But Stixa going to reset now, just going to leave Rock Ripper alone. But Rock Ripper low on mana, so may not be able to finish this off. But definitely going to get some really good damage there. But now Ronin is going to walk up. They have the gravity lapse landing onto the Ana, but Elegar going to be able to just walk it back. Mezzos just dealing so much damage with that laser. And now they have the Stormbolt landing on Ronin. Ronin starting to get really low and will get finished off. Mezzos with the final hit. And that's going to be another kill going over to Lafine Keep. And they get the prisoner camp. And the cavalry is going to start pushing. The wave also shoved in on the top side while they do have that siege camp over the mid lane. They have the sleeping dart, not going to land. Oh, sorry, it did land over on a Tantrum. And now Rebirth is going to be the target. Gravity Lapse going to land as well, but I don't think they have the damage or the lockdown to really finish off this Meriden yet. They will definitely need the help of Ronin, but now they're finding Stixa, and Stixa will be able to jump away with a Haunting Wave, but still at 300 HP. Now Lady Ronin will still have that passive heal coming through, and now both sides do have their level 7, so definitely still defensible. But now Ronin starting to get hit again, and already down to 1/3 HP. Now, again, the Biotic Grenade coming out of Elegar, just preventing Ronin from getting healed up, and that's the Phase Shift getting removed again. And this is the Polymorph talent level 1, so this is a very long cooldown, just getting completely negated by a single basic ability from Elegar, just with that positioning, with that skill shot. And now Mezzos able to push in this bot lane, and the rest of the team going to come in for support. So the first support going to be going down in favor of Lafine Keep. Now Six is just going to be coming back, trying to deal a little bit of damage over to Rebirth, but not going to be able to find it. This cavalry will end up going down, and this is the final one that is left. So they will take themselves the fort, they will get themselves the wall over in the mid lane, and in the top lane will finish off the wall as well. Now this is something that could get answered for fundamentals. This top lane fort is pretty low on the side of Équipe. But now both sides once again going to be on their siege camp, and this actually is a pretty big benefit for Équipe because they managed to take the siege camp right before everything else spawned, right before they managed to finish off the cavalry. And because of that, they're going to have a second set coming through to the one of fundamentals. They were able to take two during that same time. And now Gravity Lapse is going to land in Rebirth. Going to pop the Avatar. Kind of needed to. Was definitely in a very dangerous situation. But Amez was going to get stunned up underneath the fort. Going to take a decent amount of damage too. But without the heroics, they just don't have the damage to win this fight. The second wind is going to come through for a Rebirth. So overall, no permanent damage done to the side of Équipe. And whatever damage was done, Elegant will be able to heal back up. And now Rebirth looking over for Rock Ripper over in the top lane. But they do have the phase shifts coming through. And actually, that's going to be enough for the kill. Rebirth going to go down. And that's going to be the first kill of the game for fundamentals. That's a pretty big one. Lava Wave going to be coming through towards the bot side. They're looking for Bezos. Do they have the Impale? They do not. The Gravity Lapse is going to be throwing down. Same with the Living Bomb. And they will be able to clear this wave. And another one behind it. But I don't know how much pressure they can really get off of this. Right now, it looks like they want to try pushing towards the mid lane. Stixa getting jumped upon. Baronian is here. Elegar might be in a bad spot. And now they're looking for the bro charge. Not going to be able to land it. And the Impale also gets sidestepped. So Elegar, everything said and done, will be able to just back away. Now Tantrum is the one that's getting attacked. And they will be able to take Tantrum down. The Water Elemental dealing so much damage. Malthix just getting so much value on this Jaina. Now the Water Elemental still continues to zone. But during that time, Rock Ripper, at the very least, will be able to take down the top lane fort. So, structure-wise, we are now more or less evened up, at least for the major ones that give that passive XP, that give those cannons in the waves. But either way, let's take a moment to kind of see where we're at. But it is a full level lead right now for Équipe. 5-1 the kill score. And the Jaina about to finish off Frostbite will be able to get that extra little bit of safety. Will be able to go into that ice block as well. And now 13 onto Mana Addict. So we'll definitely need a couple more regen globes. 7 more is actually still going to take a little bit of a while. Make that 6. And with this should be only 5 more. But Tantrum actually needs to back away, because there is a push happening in the mid lane. And now in the bot lane, Lady Ronin actually going to get the Emerald win. So no blink heal this time around from the Brightwing. That's actually pretty interesting to me. They have the Polymorph build, so there's not going to be too many phase shifts either. Might be a little bit difficult for the healing, but it seems like they want to just full commit on to getting that one target. They're looking for Rebirth. They have the Impale, but do they have the damage? The Cocoon over onto Elegant, and now the Pyroclasm going to be coming through, and they will get Rebirth. How much more can they get? It is 4v4 right now. The Ragnaros is in base. Trad still trying to do DPS over on the front line. Does get Polymorph. And the Flame Strike not going to be able to land. Trad starting to get low, but again, they just don't have the damage to follow up. But it is a 1-0 in favor of fundamentals. The Lava Wave is going to clear away this bottom lane push. So a little bit of a passive push coming in here for fundamentals. And I was talking about the full level lead. It is now down to half a level. And now with that, there is the prisoner camp available. But Rebirth is back up. Won't have Avatar, but neither will fundamentals. Really, neither of these two sides have heroics available. It's just going to be Last Rites and Water Elemental available on Équipe, and Emerald Wind available on fundamentals. And now Malthix is standing pretty far forward. Rock Ripper and Stixa could be looking for the play, but now they see Rebirth going to deal a decent chunk of damage over to it. But again, it's the Murden, doesn't really care. Elegak should be able to just heal that back up. And now the pressure is really going to start coming through again. Trad going to be able to take the siege camp. We see that on the minimap. Going to start pushing over into the mid lane. Stixa going to get started on this Snow camp, but now Lady Ronin going to get targeted. Has the cleanse, but the Last Rites going to be able to get the kill. And now the stun lands onto 4, but there's just no damage to follow up. Styx is just not around, and they will be able to take down 2. Ronin could be the next target, and right now they are fighting on 2 fronts. It is going to be Ronin that's going to be the main target and will get taken down. Styx is able to just get away with a Haunting Wave, but that's still going to be a 3-0, and that's still going to be the siege camp getting stolen by Équipe. They've gotten the mid lane for it, and now they could still look for Rock Ripper. Going to be able to dodge away onto the Stormbolt, though, and that probably saved Rock Ripper's life. And now Six is still trying to DPS over top of the wall, but with these two siege camps pushing in, the minus 20 armor is really starting to add up, and now Rock Ripper still going to be in a pretty bad spot, but again, is able to just back away. Malthic's not going to get hit by the gravity lapse. And they should be able to just back away safely, but the mid lane wall is going to be gone. And Trad, the entire time, is just guarding this prisoner camp, and they're going to have their second set of cavalry coming through right now. Mezos able to clear away the bot lane over in the meanwhile. And there is a massive wave on the top side for fundamentals, but Trad's going to be able to get to it right before it reaches their walls. And now Mezos could actually be in a bad spot, and they will be able to get the pick off. And that's actually really big for fundamentals. Being able to remove that long-range DPS is definitely going to lower the amount of damage that they can deal with this push. However, it looks like Équipe, they realize they're all down over into the bottom side, so they will start pushing out closer to that top lane. Lava Wave is going to come through, and I believe it does damage the cavalry a little bit, but definitely not going to be enough. At the very least, we'll clear away all the minions to just slow down this push. Now, the mid wave is going to get cleared away by fundamentals. Bot lane already cleared away by Rock Ripper, but the top lane for it will definitely be going down here as Équipe, they don't get a ton of value out of this cavalry, but they do get some. And now Trad could be targeted here. Ronin actually running into them, and they have the cocoon already, and now they could look for that target. They have the flame strike, but they have the unstoppable as well. But Trad still getting targeted down to half HP, and they're still looking for it. They have the polymorph water elemental going to be coming through, pyroblast as well, and Ada just trying to heal up Trad. Biotic grenade, and not going to be enough damage, so no one's going to be able to go down, but they will be able to clear away the cavalry. Level 16 talents now available for both these two teams, as fundamentals gonna be able to at least secure themselves another siege camp for themselves. But they need to start trying to get some more of these structures, but it's difficult because even like we saw there, these team fights are just hard for them. And now Rebirth is positioning over to the top lane, and it looks like Équipe might be debating getting started on one of these bosses. They will have the siege camp taken down, but it looks like they're gonna run back down over to the mid lane, so they're not gonna get started on the boss. However, fundamentals, they're already going to be here, and they're going to get started on this bottom boss first. So now Équipe needs to race back. They've already cleared away the mid lane, and now they want to start fighting for this boss. But at this point, fundamentals, they're already more than halfway through. They could definitely clear this out fairly quickly. And since they do have Lava Wave coming up in 9 seconds, when that boss does spawn on the top side, they might even be able to defend it better. But it doesn't look like they want to push with this bottom boss. They want to go to mid, clear out this wave. Another siege camp is shoving into them. And they also need to clear away that top side, because while they do have the lava wave to help clear it out, this boss is still going to be a threat when it comes to taking down their keep and their walls. Now Stixa might be a little bit far up, but right now just going to be relegated to dealing with that mid lane. Ronin is here as well. Mezos not going to get caught, but Eligard is going to be in Rebirth. Going to get polymorphed and is immediately going to get tossed into the cocoon. A lot of damage coming through from Mezos. Not going to be able to get any permanent damage. They are on an even talent here, but now Rock Ripper going to be using that trade, and that's what Ragnaros is good at. Just defending onto these keeps, and they will settle for just the wall on the side of Équipe. And frankly, I think on the side of fundamentals, you take this trade, because they will get a little bit of damage onto the keep, but their boss over in the bot lane was able to take down the fort. So that's going to be permanent pressure rather than just a little bit of structural damage. And might even be able to get a little bit more to this wall. I don't suspect too much. Yeah, 1, 2 autos, and the stomp going to get canceled, but it's something. But now, Équipe, they're immediately going to get started on this next objective. They're going to start the channel. They don't have level 20s yet. They are close. Less than half a level, about a quarter level even, from level 20 on the side of Équipe. And they will just back away and let fundamentals take it back. I actually think that's a pretty good call. They're going to take those free 7 seconds that they were able to get just from the macro play, just from the fact that fundamentals do need to respond to those waves. And now, once they hit their level 20s, then they can start pressing a little bit harder and start trying to apply that pressure on the map. Level 20 is going to be coming through right now. And so far looks pretty similar, but now Rebirth going to be going forward. They already have the stun on a Tantrum, but the Cocoon going to be used to prevent the fight. A Rewind was not used by Rebirth there, so that will be available. And it was basically just a trade of Dwarf Toss for the Cocoon. And definitely on the side of Athena Keep, you will take that. Now the Impale not going to be in range to prevent it, but now Rebirth going forward again, able to land on a Tantrum, and now they're going through. They have tried in the backline, but Emerald Wind going to prevent the fight, but they're still going to be able to take down Seelick, and that's a massive kill to get. And now without the Sylvanas, they can definitely start pressuring, but it looks like they're deciding where to put that pressure. Right now, they're just going to send Mezzles back down to the camp just to retake that channel, just to get that cavalry going. As now they have the route onto Rock River. Rock River starting to get a little bit low. They have a couple stuns. The Impale is going to land as Mezzos. Still going to be in the area. Still trying to find some kind of an angle and some kind of damage onto this keep. Now, Malthix is able to land just a little bit, but at the end of the day, every little bit adds up. And actually, it is going to be Trad that's going to be holding on to that keep. So we'll give holding on to that prisoner camp. So we'll give them a little bit more pressure that way. But now Ronin could be looking for the play, but right now not going to be going in. Level 20 is now available. Fundamentals, this is when they can fight. But I don't know if this is where they'd want to fight, just because at this point, it'd be so difficult for them. The cavalry's already pushing. If they want a team fight, they need to fight fast, and they need to win it early. Now they are getting a little bit of value over on the top side just from these waves, but again, Trad just going to walk up and clear this out. The cavalry did take a little bit of damage from that lava wave, but what level 20 actually did they go? So it is going to be the additional charge, so they can hold up to 2 lava waves, but it doesn't start at 2. You got to earn it. But only 30-second cooldown. They've already used 1, but now Rebirth going to get the Stormbolt onto 2. The Impale going to prevent that fight, but now Water Elementals coming through as well, but Rock Ripper getting jumped upon, and will have more than enough damage. They have the silencing arrow coming out from Stixa, but it's just not enough, and they're still looking for more. Ronin getting get jumped upon, and last rights going to be able to get the kill. Rebirth still looking forward onto Stixa, but with the phase shift, going to be able to keep Stixa alive, but it's a 2-for-0, and they still have the cavalry pushing in. They already have the bottom keep, and now they're looking over towards this top lane. And most crucially, the Ragnaros is gone. They're not going to have that extra little bit of a trade to give that extra little bit of safety to their keep. Latina Keep definitely going to be in a good spot as Rebirth again looking for Stixa, but the teleport going to get burned. So Stixa not going to have that blink for the next little while, and doesn't have the Wailing Arrow either for a little bit. But it's just going to be DPSing onto... onto Rebirth, but that was a really close Stormbolt, almost able to get that pick. And now Emerald Wind just trying to buy some space. They still have 1 armor, so we'll buy a little bit of time, but do they have enough? The cavalry already gone on both these waves, and now Stixa goes in and will get taken down. Tantrum still trying to DPS as well, but I think it's too little too late. Tantrum is gone, and Lafine Keep, they will win game number 1. And I mean, Lafine Keep, they played that about as well as you could ask for. 13-3 in the kill score. Fundamentals definitely had a couple really good opportunities to get pickoffs, but every single time just unfortunately came up a little bit short. Just needed that little bit more damage or that little bit more lockdown, just whatever. But unfortunately for them, it wasn't enough. They will be going down 0-1 so far to Lafine Keep, but at the same time, Lafine Keep, they're number 1 in this division for a reason. 3 players going completely deathless, and it's going to be their healer, their offlaner, and their mage. I mean, those are 3 of the roles you definitely want to go deathless. Muradin has 2. The tank is usually the first one to go down anyway. So well played for Lafine Keep. And now we're going to go to a short break, but when we come back, it'll be game number 2 of, again, this best of 5. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back soon.
Battlefield of Eternity.
All right, welcome back, everyone, to game number 2 between Équipe and Fundamentals. We are going over to Battlefield of Eternity. Where do I need to go? I don't actually have a specific spot for my chair right now for my desk, so I'm constantly off center. But either way, we are going to be here. We are getting ready for the second map, and this time, or I should say again, first pick going to be going over to Fundamentals. So this map was picked by Équipe, and this is a fun map. This is a map we've all know and love. This is a map where there's always going to be at least a little bit of team fighting. So what's really going to be interesting is how they do decide to draft this, because there's a lot of options. Some teams do like just having that racing team comp, just kind of trying to force people to race against them. Some teams like just full team fight, and some like a mix. And this does genuinely change a lot about how the game is going to be played, how these two teams want to shove their waves, what their priorities are, etc., etc. But right now, it is going to be the same bans as last game so far, albeit in a different orders. Équipe did ban away the Varian and the Stukov, though they banned the Stukov away first in game number 1. And it was the Anduin banned away by Fundamentals, and I'm trying to remember who their other ban was. I know they banned Dahaka as third, but Murden going to be second. So either way, it's definitely going to be a new ban coming out of Fundamentals. Time will tell who they left open, but we'll see. And Stukov is still going to be the second ban coming out from Équipe. Just going to be removing that combo, and not just the combo, but basically that entire pair. But Vala is available, so 6, they're going to lock that in immediately. And obviously Vala is just a really solid DPS overall, but is also incredibly good at the race. The Hungering Arrow build, especially with that level 7 talent, deals so much damage. I believe it's plus 150% Hungering Arrow damage to the Immortals, or to all neutrals, really. And then once you hit that level 20, where you have that triple vault just to keep resetting it, can literally one-shot the halves. So definitely going to be a danger coming out from Fundamentals. And it was Falstad that was the ban, now that I remember it, but Edgar going to be locking that in immediately. And Lieutenant Morales locked in for Malthix. Now, for Lieutenant Morales right now, there actually is a current bug for it, where there is a way to use multiple healing beams. Now, that bug is currently banned in the NGS, so I don't expect Équipe will use it, but just an interesting little factoid for all of you, as we see the Oriole-Tyrael combo coming out from Fundamentals. So that should be pretty fun as well. Now, I'm curious what kind of Tyrael they're going to go for. Obviously, you can go forward and be that super hard aggressive hero, or at the same time, you can get Sanctification and just be that perfect shield, just keeping everyone alive. But we're just going to have to see as once the game does come through, and more specifically on that level 10. However, because Rock Ripper 21 was the one that locked it in, it's also very possible this is an offlane Tyrael. So another thing to look out for. However, obviously, a lot of players really like to swap roles between games. And now Équipe going to ban away the Artanis. This is one of the few maps where the Artanis is genuinely not just viable, but can even be good. Doesn't have to worry about the double soak, doesn't have to worry about shoving out 2 lanes, only has to worry about the 1v1 dueling, which Artanis is really good at, and also only has to worry about racing on the Immortals, which, again, the Artanis is really good at. But the Nubrak going to be the next ban coming out of Fundamentals, and Équipe going to lock in Garrosh for Rebirth and Thrall for Trad. So at least with their first 4 picks, it does look like they want to have that teamfight composition. Vala's definitely going to be able to outrace the Falstad. It's not even going to be close. They could still take something else for themselves. Li Ming is still available if they want that. Greymane, Zul'jin to a lesser extent now is good. And even a Raynor. I don't know how many teams really like playing the Raynor, but it is good for this specific situation. And now Fundamentals is going to lock in Joanna for Ronin. And Tantrum is going to lock in the Sonya. So yeah, a bit of an interesting team composition here. I do suspect, especially with Joanna getting locked in by Ronin, it is that double tank triple front line for Fundamentals. I suspect it will be Tyrael in the off lane, and then Sonya's going to be part of that 4-core, unless they do something like a 2-3, which we've also seen at least every now and then. And then the final pick for La Fine Équipe is going to be the Alarak for Mezzos. So another really fun and interesting pick. Definitely needs to snowball a bit, but it's also showing La Fine Équipe they really want a team fight. That's how they want to win this game. That's how they want to win this map. And that's going to be their strategy going forward. But again, we'll see which of these two teams is able to come out on top as we head into game number 2. All right, and we are in Battlefield of Eternity, the quarterfinals of the B East Division, the final quarterfinal. And it's La Fine Équipe, seed number 1 versus Fundamentals, seed number 8. And with this coming through, this is a best of 5. So even if La Fine Équipe do come out on top here, there will be at least one more game going forward. However, Fundamentals, I think this team composition could definitely give them a pretty solid advantage. Just the fact that at any point, if they win a team fight, or if they don't lose a team fight, the Vala is going to be able to just out-damage this Falstad, out-damage this Thrall and the Alarak on these Immortals. It gives them a pretty easy out here. When you have that racing team composition, you do kind of give away the priority, but at the same time, if you're able to not lose too much of the priority, you will always come out on top when it comes to these objectives. Now, they are sending 4 members down on the side of La Fine Équipe, but they're sending 3 members up on the side of Fundamentals. Roni and Sixa are going to be here as well, looking for Trad, but Rock Ripper just going to be able to zone away Trad. Now, they're not going to be able to find the kills, so Ronin and Rock Ripper, they're both still here. Both tanks actually in the top side. But Tantrum and Lady Ronin, they're going to be in the bot side, but Ada Guy already going to start on the push. As Stixa getting found by Rebirth. The Wrecking Ball was already used, but now the Condemned going to find its way onto 3. Ada Guy starting to take a decent amount of damage. Rock Ripper's there as well, but Malthix with the healing will be able to keep the team alive. And they will be in a good spot. But now it is going to be the Hungering Arrow build as expected coming out from Stixa. But Stixa starting to get a little bit low. Now Lady Rona getting thrown into the backline and will be First Blood going over to La Fine Équipe. Groundbreaker not going to be able to land either. And again, La Fine Équipe just able to outfight Fundamentals. They're looking for even more damage. And again, every kill is going to give points to that sadism. And that's going to increase the damage for this Holorak. I always forget how much is lost. Sadism gained from takedowns is lost on death. There we go. But now they're still going to be trading. Ronin actually going to be able to go down. I thought Ronin should have been fine there, but I guess not. The damage was definitely there from La Fine Équipe. Sixa still trying to trade a little bit, but still only 3 stacks so far as Trad just able to win this 1v1. And I think that is the danger of the Thrall. Thrall's kind of in a similar boat as Artanis. Not super strong if they need to double soak. The wave clear just isn't that good. We have a fire alarm apparently, so let me mute my mic. All right, and it's done for now, so I can get right back to casting. But now the racing is already coming through. And again, apologies for that. We got a new restaurant opening up in the downstairs of the building, and their thing is so sensitive. It goes off like once a week right now. But now Lady Ronin going to be getting caught out, and it will go down. And Rebirth starting to get low, but Malthix just constantly able to bring out the healing. And Rebirth will be fine, and now Six is going to be the next target. But Ronin, again, able to bring out the Condemn. Will be able to land on a 2, but Sixa could be the next target. Wrecking Ball is going to get used, and they have more than enough damage on a Rebirth. Tantrum and Ronin now have to back away, and this is going to be another big teamfight victory for La Fine Équipe. They're going to have their level 6s, and they're going to be able to bring it at the very least to halftime. Now, one important thing to note for the race here is that fundamentals, they're not that much better at the race until level 7. Once the level 7 talent comes through, that's when they really start winning onto this. Now, they're going to be able to trade a little bit of damage, but obviously La Fine Équipe definitely going to be able to win this race, especially before that level 7, but still 12k damage shield going to be coming through for La Fine Équipe, and it is going to be going up to that top lane. Rocker was able to shove the lane out at least a little bit, as the level 7 is going to be approaching for fundamentals. And it's also important to note that it's really good at dealing with the Immortal once it does spawn for the enemy team, if you are able to win into it. But now Stixa just trying to get a little bit of damage out. Ronin could be in a bad spot, actually. Iron Skin going to be there, and the stun is still going to come through. They're able to push Ronin back. The healing's just not going to be able to come out in time. And that's going to be another kill, 5-0 in favor of La Fine Équipe. And they're just coming out on top, just absolutely dominating. Now Rebirth is unstoppable. Gets a Groundbreaker onto Lady Ronin. And now Lady Ronin going to be the next target. Level 7 talent is now out. But again, the damage and the healing is just too high for La Fine Équipe. Now Elegag going to be able to get a little bit of poke damage. And the sadism stacks on Mezzos are really starting to come up, already at 118. This is really going to add that extra DPS, that extra burst damage. This Alarak is going to be getting quite scary. And frankly, already is kind of scary. But now Mezzo's still looking over onto this wall. And it's typically, with that first Immortal, you want to take down the first wall. They were able to get the first wall of the fort and most of the second wall, literally 16 HP off of it. So it may as well not be there right now. And during all that, Trad also wailing onto this bot lane fort as well. Going to take it down to half HP. Doesn't have a lot of mana, but it's going to be La Fine Équipe who has the inside track. They will be able to get down here earlier, and they will be able to secure themselves this siege camp. However, it looks like fundamentals, they don't want to give it up. They want to fight here. And I actually really like this call. If they're going to go all in, I think this is the time. Mezzo's going to be stunned up. Rebirth in the front line. They're focusing onto the Garrosh. Might not be the main target. But now Rebirth with into the fray. Going to be able to keep Mezzos away safely. It is now 4v4. Ronin still in a good position. Will be able to get the Condemn onto 4. Mezzos is in the front line. Will get taken down. So all the sadism stacks are gone. And that's going to be the camp also going the way of fundamentals. So that's a massive victory for fundamentals right now. Getting rid of those stacks is gonna be crucial for them. This is going to reset Mezzos entirely, but now Rebirth could be looking for a play. Has a very good angle there, but do they have the proper target? Now Rebirth is going to be looking for it. They have been able to scout it out. Unfortunate luck there, but level 10 heroics are available for La Fine Équipe, as we see Trad finishing off the siege camp over on the top side. So it is going to be 1-1 in terms of the camps, but fundamentals at least able to secure themselves that kill. And now Tantrum going to get thrown into the backline. Level 10 still not available, but now they're looking towards Rebirth. Rebirth starting to get taken down a little bit, but again, the damage just isn't there yet from fundamentals. But now they have level 10s, and it should be fun. They do have the judgment, so it is going to be Rock Ripper going in with that hard engage. They're not looking for the sandification, but what's interesting is it is the falling sword coming out of Ronin. So it will provide a little bit of safety, a little bit of that cleanse for them. As now the side of La Fine Équipe immediately going to get started onto the Immortal. They're able to find Lady Ronin, and Lady Ronin going to go down. Now Leap was already used, but Sundering going to split the fight in two. But they have the revive onto Tantrum. Lady Ronin is still going to be there. They're still looking for the fight. Mezzo's going to get knocked back into the Immortal, but again, they're just not going to be able to fight here yet. The halftime has already come through, and both sides have used two major heroics, as the stim drone is going to be gone as well. Now Rebirth looking forward, looking to start an engage. They have the route over to the back. They found Ronin. They found the I forget that name. But anyway, Lady Ronin going to be the next target. Bezel is just going to be following up with that. Should have nowhere to go. One more Feral Spirit, and that's going to be a 3-0 in favor of La Fine Équipe. So Mezzo's pretty much right back to where they were before that play. And now they're even looking to steal away the Bruiser camp. And I think fundamentals, they have to give it up. There's not much they can do about a 6. They're just trying to get some stacks on that puncturing arrow, but that's all they're going to be able to get out of it. Équipe will be able to finish off this final immortal, or this second immortal, I should say. Unlikely it is going to be the final one. It's only 9 minutes into the game. In theory, if they get a massive team fight, they could threaten to win the game, but it's unlikely. But now they're going to be going down to the bot lane. The forts are already gone, so this will be a push going for the keep, as now Équipe going to be able to take down the final cannon tower, and Équipe could be the target here. Leap is available, but Équipe is so fast and will be able to just fly out of there. So they're not going to be able to get the pick, but the positioning is already favoring Équipe down here in the bottom side. And now this is where the push is going to be coming through. Level 13 talents are available for Équipe, so this is definitely a power play for them. And now with the Immortal already dealing so much damage to the structures, it's a full shield Immortal as well. But now they're looking for the Judgment Order in the backline. They have the lead, falling sword over top, and Malthic's going to be the target. Will go down. That's going to be the healer gone immediately. But is that enough? Lady Ronin still trying to get some heals out. It is going to be 1-for-1 so far. Stixa has the stun over to the backline. They have the Resurrect available, and Tantrum going to be right back into this fight. It is a 1-for-1 so far. Stixa just trying to auto onto the backline, but it is just going to be that, I guess, unofficial 2-for-1. However, they did have the revive immediately, so Fundamentals are going to be able to, at the very least, defend their keep, but it's still going to take a lot of damage there. Going to be down to maybe 1/5 HP, so huge win here for Équipe once again. And now with that, they are level 14 to level 12. They have first move here on the top side. They should be able to take the siege camp. It will get traded on the bot side. It seems like they decided not to push their luck this time again and fight for this bottom siege camp. They'll just trade 1-for-1, and I mean, with the current map state, with the current experience state, they're almost 2 full levels up above Fundamentals. They can afford to do those trades, and now they actually have a pretty big wave to the top side, and they're going to start pushing with it. They are not letting off the gas. They are going to continue walking forward. They have a lot of damage. They have the cannon as well. Rebirth coming in from the side. Able to spot out Ronin. Will be able to prevent this engage from coming through. Wrecking Ball just going to delay them. Look at the damage already done onto this keep, and it's still coming through. Ronin now going to be able to zone them away, but that's going to be another 80% keep health removed just from one clean macro rotation from Équipe. And now they're going to come right back down to the bot lane. They will take a little bit of damage over on their wall, but I mean, you will always take that trade. But now Fundamentals, they're walking forward. They know that they have an even talent here, but now Rebirth is going to be able to spot out Lady Ronin, but now Judgment is going to get used over onto Trad, but no one's able to follow, so that's going to be a pretty big cooldown used with not much gain. Now the Bruiser Camp is getting started as well by Équipe, so they will be able to get that shoving in through the bot side. The other Bruiser Camp is not going to be available for 50 more seconds, so Fundamentals not going to have that answer. They already have the passive push favoring Équipe. And the Immortals are spawning, but Trad might be a little bit too far out. This might be their target, but do they have a way? They have the leap, and now they're going to have the silence as well. The Sundering going to buy a little bit of time, and might have bought more than enough. Ancient Spear should be back up soon. Rock Ripper, again, just trying to collect whatever they can, but this is taking them so long, and Trad will go down, but the Immortals are already going to be taken down by a quarter HP, and Mezzos should be able to finish off this bot lane keep. Might not even need to do it themselves. This is going to be the bot lane keep gone from the Bruiser Camp and from just from the passive push and the cannons. But now Ronin is on the back lane. The Iron Skin is going to be there. Lady Ronin just trying to heal back up, and Stixa is getting jumped upon, starting to get a little bit low, and will be able to get finished off by Mezzos. Now the Judgment again going to get used to the back line, but the Resurrect is going to be their falling sword as well. Going to land, and now Mezzos could be the target. Mezzos is in a bad spot, does not have the ultimate or the heroic available, and that is going to be a 2-for-1 in favor of Fundamentals. And like I said earlier, they do have the racing team. If they're able to get on top of this, they will have a ton of damage. Leap going to be used, but not going to be able to land. Another Ensemble is there for Rebirth. Condemn finds its way onto 2. And they do have the halftime. Équipe going to be winning on this Immortal trade for now. But it looks like Équipe, they want to fight even without Mezzos. They know they have the HP advantage. Thundering going to get used. Tantrum is on the back line and will get immediately taken down. Lady Ronin will follow. And it's a 2-for-0 play for Équipe. They're still down a member, but Mezzos will be back up shortly. As Guy just going to be solo racing as Trad going to rotate up to the top side. They're trying to get whatever poke they can on this top lane keep. But now Trad could be the next target. Stixa playing forward already, has the Hungering Arrow as well. But again, the damage just is not there yet for the fundamentals. 31 stacks on Puncturing Arrow. I believe that's 186 bonus damage, but only on that initial hit. The bouncers do not benefit from this. But now with that, Équipe will take their third immortal of the game. However, this time, much less shield than usual. But I don't think it will make a difference when it comes to taking down this keep. But having that extra damage may prevent them from being able to end the game. Fundamentals should be able to save their core unless Équipe can get a good team fight going. They do have the angle. Rebirth going to get stunned up. Hungering Arrow just going to be bouncing around as well. So Stixa just getting those extra stacks. Every little bit adds up. But now it's level 18 to level 16. This is a very low keep. The Immortals already pushing in. And now they have the Stormhammer coming through as well. Now Rain of Vengeance going to find two, but the keep is already gone. Now the shield is around a quarter HP, but now Lady Ronan going to get targeted. Judgment in the backline with the Falling Sword. Look on to Mouthings, but they've already lost Lady Ronan. And now Stixa just autoing onto whoever they can. Rebirth able to stun onto two. And Ronan needs to back away. The damage is already coming through. And now Rebirth, Mezzles, just everyone kind of getting autoed. But at the end of the day, Équipe, they're standing their ground. They're able to find one. They're able to find two. But they're able to get traded back, actually. Now it's going to be a 2-for-2. Lady Ronan just trying to keep everyone alive. Ronan still alive at 500 HP. But they're hitting onto the core. This Immortal is too strong, and that should be everything said and done. It was a brave attempt, but Équipe will take game number 2. And again, just another really well-played game by Équipe. They got ahead super early on. They managed to get a massive lead for themselves, and they were just able to keep pushing that in until the end of the game. Fundamentals, they had a couple of good team fights, but unfortunately, it was all a little bit too little, a little bit too late. And in some of those team fights, they were a little bit disconnected. And I think with Équipe playing as well as they have been, they are definitely one of the favorites to win this whole division. It's always going to be an uphill battle, but the series still is not over. This is a best of 5. And Fundamentals definitely played game 2 better than they played game 1. If they can play just a little bit better, maybe they can take a map and maybe even more off Équipe. Now we're going to go to a short break, but when we come back, it'll be game number 3. So don't go anywhere. And here we are with game number 3 between Équipe and Fundamentals. You probably thought it was going to be a longer break, but nope. These two teams, they're raring to go. they're already ready and set up for this next match. And this should be another pretty good one. It is going to be Tomb of the Spider Queen. So a pretty small map, but at the same time, it is a little bit snowbally. So could be interesting to see how that changes things. Potentially, Fundamentals could maybe try and snowball a little bit earlier on, and maybe that will be enough for them. However, Équipe, they've definitely looked strong in the first 2 games. They've looked strong all season long. So again, I'd still have to favor them with this map. But we'll see how the drafts go. Maybe Fundamentals can bring out something new, and maybe they can just make what they've already shown look stronger. And so far, same bans. Fundamentals, they've banned away Muradin. They've banned away Falstad before as that second ban. I'd suspect it would be the Muradin this time around. I don't think Falstad is that scary on Tomb of the Spider Queen, and I don't think it was that big a problem in game 1. However, they're going to bring a third ban, and they're just going to ban away the Diablo instead. And now, but again, Équipe gonna continue banning away the Varian and the Stukov. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. It's still definitely working fine for Équipe. And now, they are gonna have first pick once again on Fundamentals. They definitely really prioritize that first pick. As Équipe, they had the home team advantage because of the higher seed, so they were able to choose map pick in game number 1. But it seems like Fundamentals, they were okay to keep it going. And now Fundamentals is going to lock in the Deckard Cain for Tantrum, interestingly enough. Now I'm wondering if that's a sign that maybe they're doing a double healer. Maybe Lady Ronin is going to be playing in the assassin role. We'll have to see. They could definitely still do quite a few things. But now Dahaka going to get locked in for Trad. Not quite as effective on this map as those bigger maps, but I mean, Dahaka's Dahaka. Dahaka is always going to be good. It's never a bad time to pick Dahaka. I don't think there's any situation where you're upset about that pick. And then Mezzo's going to lock in the Orphea. Now, the Orphea is going to be fun. This is definitely a very high mechanical skill hero. Requires a lot of skill shots to land to be able to get that full utility, especially from that Shadow Waltz. If you're not able to consistently hit them and consistently use them to move around, you will definitely get taken down. And at the same time, you need to land them to get those stacks to really bring out the maximum potential of this Orphea. And now ETC gonna be locked in by Ronin and Kel'Thuzad for Stixa. So some very interesting picks already coming out of Fundamentals. They do have a lot of... Oh, again.
There is always hope.
Let's fly.
Ready to roll out.
All right, seems to be done for now. But, okay, speaking of interesting picks, I mean, there hasn't been too much interesting going on in the draft anyway, but as I come right back, we have a Butcher locked in for Rock Ripper 21 and a Sergeant Hammer for Lady Ronin. This is definitely going to be a very different draft coming out for Fundamentals, and I like seeing this kind of draft, especially when they are already backs against the wall. They're down 2-0. This is do or die. This could be the end of their season with this final game. But they have the confidence to lock in the Butcher, a very snowbally hero on a very snowbally map. And the scaling is super high for them. And at the same time, looking over at the team comp, it's going to be difficult for the side of Équipe to get onto the Sergeant Hammer. So I really like their draft for game 3. But again, we'll have to see how it goes once we get onto the Nexus. Oh, as I say that, I completely misclicked. Sorry, I'm just getting really distracted and frazzled by this fire alarm. May as well just keep you here. But yeah, next, patreon.com/Heroes Nexus Gaming Series or whatever it is. Be sure to subscribe. I'm already subscribed to the Patreon. I wouldn't be able to cast as much as I do without NGS, so gotta make sure to support it however I can. But now it is going to be map number 3,
I'll give you that.
Tomb of the Spider Queen, between La Fine Équipe and Fundamentals. And again, this is going to be do or die for Fundamentals. It's a 2-0 so far. If La Fine Équipe win this, they will get that clean sweep and go directly to the semifinals, where they're gonna match up against Protectors of Ayer in that top 4. But Fundamentals, they could still bring it back. A reverse sweep is needed at this point. But now both teams going to be running into this mid lane. And what's going to be interesting is it is going to be this fresh meat. That's what we're going to be paying attention to. Once this counter hits 200, that's where things are going to get fun. Because at that point, the Butcher will no longer lose the stacks. It will no longer need to be quite as safe. Though at the same time, at that point, the death timers are going to be a bit dangerous. Now the power slide going to be able to land on a couple. Rock Ripper just looking for a little bit of damage. The drag is going to land as well, but it's just going to be on Ronin. But now Detainment Strike. Ronin starting to get pretty low, walking towards those health potions. Going to be able to get it. But the final auto coming through from Elega is going to be able to get the kill. Now Rock Ripper going to be the second to go. And once again, La Fine Équipe able to start strong with that 2-0 advantage. And now it is going to be the Hammering coming out from Elega. So it is going to be that mage build coming out from the fall stat. But having 2-0 early on, Lady Ronin is going to be getting jumped upon as well. It's definitely going to help them out for this game. They're going to be in a much better position because of it. Already a half-level lead. They have the priority in every single lane right now. Rebirth's just going to be trading a little bit with Ronin, though. And actually, quite a few members of that Fine Équipe are going to be here. Mezzos could get rooted up. Is going to get hit into by the chains as well. Styx able to land it. But now the drag is going to go back, and Ronin just going to get burst down immediately. And it's a 3-0 scoreline right now in favor of La Fine Équipe. And they're just looking so good in this series. They're looking so good in this game number 3. And now they could continue trying to push onto this. Now, like I said before, this is a pretty snowbally map. Once you're able to take control of the lanes, once you're able to get the first couple of forts, if they're not answered in any meaningful way, it's so hard to come back. Because though all you have to do is control this middle vertical line, and you can just continuously get those web weavers spawning in. Now Ronin looking forward. They're looking towards Mezzos, but not going to be able to find the kill yet. A little bit of damage going to be coming through from Styx as Rebirth walking forward, but Lady Ronin just going to be able to buy a little bit of space on that Sergeant Hammer. But now the Bruiser camp is going to get finished off by Elega and Malthix. The two of them are going to be able to take it for themselves. And the camp hasn't been started by Fundamentals, so this is going to be some free pressure for them over in the mid lane. Now Styx takes a little bit of poke, already at 15 stacks on Gathering Storm. And once those 30 stacks hit, it's going to be a pretty solid bonus burst of damage going over to Elega and his Falstad. But again, we will have to see how this does go on. Already up to 18, and I mean, this is pretty good for 2.5 minutes, especially considering these two teams haven't really been team fighting. Typically, if you see a lot of those quests going up, it's because of consistent fighting. But right now, it's just Elega able to find the angle. It's able to just get a little bit of poke damage and just trying to get the little bit of bonus going on. But now Ronin going to get Detainment Strike into the wall. Parasite has already been used. And now the Condemned going to pull Ronin back even further, but no more damage available. Mezzos with the Shadow Waltz is going to be coming out there. Can you hear the smoke alarm still? I can hear it in the hallway, but I thought it'd be a little too quiet for the mic to pick up. And now Rebirth able to find the Condemned onto 3. Ronin gonna find Mezzos as well, and now is rooted up. And the blue web eaters are gonna be spawning, but the healing will be there from Malthix, so Mezzos gonna be in a good spot. And the web weavers are already on the way, but now they're looking towards Malthix and won't get rooted up at the Scroll of Sealing, but they're still trying to fight a little bit. Mezzos starting to get a little bit low. Lady Ronin just autoing over top of everything. And now Lady Ronin is again going to get poked out a little bit by Elega, but the web weavers are already pushing. They already have a push going over in the mid lane. They have the Condemned, but with the face melt, Trad not going to be able to get the drag and will not be able to get that extra pick off before it. You can't hear it? Okay, perfect. When it was in my room, I could definitely hear it, but Okay, but now Rebirth is going to get hit by the chains, but it's going to step away from the team, so the chains are definitely not going to connect it. And now the Web Weavers are still continuing to push it. And now just a little bit extra damage. The mid lane wall is already gone. And now they're looking over towards this mid lane. The fort already down to half HP. They might even be able to finish this off. But now Ronin looking for a possible engage. Chain's going to land, but only going to land onto 2. Not going to be able to put them together. And now the mid lane fort is already going to be taken down. They could look for more. And Ronin going to get hit with a dragon. Will get taken down. So that Équipe already at that 4-0 mark. Rock River is still just shoving away over into the bot lane. As now Trad looking to match against this Butcher, but not going to be able to find it quite yet. 58 pieces of fresh meat. If Rock Ripper can get up to 200, that's going to be permanent stacks. Then they can start trying to play more aggressive. Then they can start looking for those extra pickoffs. But now the chain's going to land, and Mezzo's going to get pulled back. They have the root. They have the Scroll of Sealing as well, but it's not going to be able to land yet. Now Ronin's still looking forward, but not going to go in with the power slide. Not yet anyway. Probably waiting for the cooldowns, and now Mezzo's just in melee range. Gonna miss the chomp to the Detainment Strike. Gonna knock Ronin out of it. As now Styx is just going to be trading back onto Rebirth with a little bit of extra poke. And again, they're just going to be able to not get a full turn-in, but especially with Trad handing in 22, make that 42. It's going to be 42 total now for that Équipe. They're in a really good spot. Now Ronin going to be getting jumped upon already. Down low to 15 HP. Got to get taken down. Mezzles will get taken down to half HP, but it's just not enough. And it's, again, a 5-0 lead already for Équipe. They're getting very close for another turn-in, but Trad was getting jumped upon by Lady Ronin and Rock Ripper, but it's so difficult to take down the Dahaka. Maybe once those heroics do come out from the Butcher, maybe they can start looking for that play, but it's still going to be difficult. But now Tantrum getting jumped upon. Mezzo's just continuously falling forward with that Shadow Walls. They have the Chomp. They have the Crushing Jaws, and they're able to find one, but Tantrum going to get gusted away to safety. But either way, they're picking onto Helegar. But, I mean, that's still going to be a 1-0 for Équipe. They're still going to be able to steal away the Bruiser Cap. And I think Équipe, they're just feeling themselves right now. They're having a great time. They're having an absolute blast this series. Now the Scroll of Sealing is going to land on it too, but right now it just doesn't matter too much. And now Rebirth just walking forward, trading with both these two members. Malthix is going to be here as well. Detainment Strike going to land on a road and just for no reason then to get in the way. But now Iligar starting to walk forward. Ronin could be in a bad spot. Condemned not going to be able to land. The Chomp will be able to deal a little bit of damage over to Ronin, but it will get traded back a little bit as the Lord NATO actually gets thrown out by the fundamentals. But now with that, the level 10 heroics are now available, but the blue Web Weavers are spawning. Now Lady Ronin should be able to clear them out a little bit, and as I say that, Rebirth could be looking towards it. They have the face melt, and Rebirth is kind of stuck underneath there, and it's starting to get pretty low. It will get taken down, so that's going to be the first kill of the game, going over to fundamentals now. And now they're looking towards Mezzles as well, but the damage just isn't there. They don't have the range. They don't have the engage, but the Web Weavers are still going to be pushing. Already down to half HP here on the top side, but in the bot lane, the wall is already gone, and they will be able to get on top of the play here. But it is going to be Mosh Pit, by the way, in case anyone's curious. It's not going to be the stage dive coming out of Ronin. Now Ronin kind of in the middle of everyone, and there we go.
shall weave a web of death upon the blue team. As I asked, the spiders shall aid them. Red team, defend yourselves or perish.
Freedom! We're back. Okay. But either way, it does look like I'm back just in time to commentate what looks to be the possible end of the series. That Équipe, they are pushing forward. They already did use the Crystal Aegis though, but now Lady Ronin is getting jumped upon down to 200 HP, 90 HP, but able to survive for now. But do they have enough to defend? And I think with the Sergeant Hammer, they may be able to do it. And now Rock Ripper getting thrown into the back line as well. Lornado trying to push them out of position. And now Ronin into the back line, has the root, has the mosh pit, and they're able to take down one. Now Menzel's gonna get rooted up as well, and will get a second kill. So as I say the potential end of the game, it looks like Fundamentals, they're able to get something for themselves. And now they're looking for a third. Malthic's going to be the third target to go down and will get taken down. Now the drag is going to find Ronin, but Ronin is going to get taken down for it. And as they are pushing them back, it is a 3-for-1. However, the Web Weavers are still pushing. The mid one is already gone. The bot lane one won't be able to finish off this keep. But this is major, major structural damage done by the side of La Fine Équipe. And Tried even going to rotate down here, trying to get a little bit more damage. But Lady Ronin and Rock Ripper are going to be here to help clear out this wave as fast as possible. But, I mean, look at the damage here. Already down by 80%. And Elegar, in the meanwhile, already getting started on this Bruiser Camp. Should be able to take it down quite quickly. And the Siege Camp going to get started by Trad. Level 20s are already available for La Fine Équipe, but they are short some gems for turn. So there is a little bit of time for Fundamentals to try and shove out these waves. They will have at least some opportunity to be given a chance back into the game. And Rock Ripper already down up to 166 stacks. So the amount of damage that this Butcher can deal is actually pretty high. And if they're able to get another one of those team fights like they did, it's genuinely a winnable situation for them. But this is where things are going to get complicated, because right now, the Fine Équipe, they don't want to just give it up. They have the level 20 advantage. This is their time to go. But now Rebirth, Blessed Shield over to the backline. Ronin starting at pretty low as well. Iron Skin and Trad coming in from the side. But the chains are going to be there. Trad Going to push Rock Ripper away. No one's gone down yet, but now Trad over into the back line. Lots of damage on a Rock Ripper. The silence as well as Lady Rona just trying to push them away. But again, with this, the Siege Camp pushing into the bot side, and the rest of La Fine Équipe will be here as well. They will finish off the final keep, but they weren't able to get any pickoffs. But again, level 20 talent advantage is still there. Rebirth with a gun forward. They have the dragon. They found Ronin. Ronin could be the target. But now with the power slide, able to find 2. And now the Mosh Pit able to find 3. And they're able to hold it for a very long time. But do they have the damage? Right now, they just don't. That was definitely their best opportunity, but the DPS just was not there for fundamentals. But now they're going forward. Rock Ripper may have gone a little bit too far, starting to get pretty low. Trad look over to the back line, but now with the power slide, with the face melt, Trad could go down. A couple more hits are needed, and Trad will survive. And actually, it's going to be Rock Ripper that's going to go down. Another Blessed Shield comes out, and that should be it. Ronin is gone. It's a 3-for-1. Make that a 4. And make that potentially 5, as now they are jumping onto Tantrum. Elegant just trying to DPS over top of the chains are going to be there. They're still defending for now. The Isolate is there, and Trad just running onto Tantrum, but it doesn't matter. They're able to finish it off. They get the clean sweep, and La Fine Équipe, they're going to the semifinals. All right, and with that, I really apologize for that cast today. It was completely out of my control, unfortunately. It is just the restaurant downstairs. It's pretty new. It recently opened up, and I don't know what they're doing with their smoke detectors, but it goes off pretty often at this point. But either way, that's going to be La Fine Équipe winning 3-0. I mean, they clearly had fun in this final game as well. I especially really like that Gus from Edegar and just the team spam pinging on top of it. That was really funny to me. I probably shouldn't laugh at that, but it was a good play. And again, fundamentals, they are going to have their season end here. They did barely just qualify for playoffs. I think considering how their season's been going, the fact that they were able to play in the quarterfinals at all, that's already a pretty big win for them. They were able to get the last second win with their final game of the season in order to qualify for the playoffs. So they will take their top 8 spot with pride. And with that, we should be finishing up here. Now I'm debating whether... I think I should be good for an interview. You know what? Let's just do one. Worst case, I'll have to draw partway through. Yeah, we're definitely going to try. Because I should give away the points for the outcome. La Fine Équipe gonna get that 3-0. But we'll see if either of them do join. And yes, we do. Hello, hello.
Hello.
All right. Well, for everyone in chat, I am joined here by Mezzos, the captain of La Fine Équipe. Now, before we get our interview started, I will warn you ahead of time. The fire alarm has been going off about every 5 to 10 minutes. So if I randomly mute and leave, that is why.
I hope it's not a real fire.
No, we long story, but everything's fine. That's all you need to know.
All right.
But yeah, congratulations on your 3-0 clean sweep of fundamentals. And how does it feel?
Merci. Feels good. We were prepared for that game, and I think we delivered on what we came here to do: play Heroes of the Storm.
Yeah, you definitely delivered on that. And I mean, one thing I do want to ask you about actually is the bans. For all 3 games, you banned away the Varian and the Stukov for your first phase of bans. Now, is that something you just don't like to play against, or is there something you fear from the fundamentals in those 2 picks?
It was mostly banning their comfort picks. We've seen that they like to play those two heroes together, so we figure out let's put them on their off an off foot as soon as possible. So by removing 2 heroes they like a lot, we try to make them less comfortable.
All right. Yeah, no, I that makes sense. That's a really good strategy. When in doubt, just remove the comfort picks. Usually it will work out great.
Yes.
And then for game number 3, I don't know if I should bring this up, but it was too funny not to. I noticed that Elega had a pretty good gust, and then I saw many a ping going on top of the Falstad over on that bot lane. So it seems to me, at least from the outside, that you were having a ton of fun this series. So tell me, what were the comms like during this
Yes.
best of 5?
Yes. Elega, other name is Grief Coach, like because he's all like he's pretty good at griefing us, and that was a great grief. Like we were about to kill, I think it was a butcher, and then he just gussed him away, and he had like a few gems. So he said, "Yo, buddy, what do you do?" That was all fun and game.
Yeah, so right now, is this something that's just kind of within the team dynamic? Do you guys just have a fun time playing, or is it like super serious when
No,
it is time on the Nexus?
no, it's quite fun. We're all French Canadians, and we have this thing in common, this language in common, and we come in the Nexus to play and have fun, and sharing the same language, the same culture also helps. So it's always lighthearted. Though we still want to win, we're here to compete, and like we're hoping to get to the finals, maybe win. But it's mostly it's a very good vibe playing with these 5 gentlemen.
All right. I mean, that's always good to hear. It's a good team dynamic to have. And
Mhm.
you said you're here to compete. Now, with this win, you are going to the semifinals, and you're going to be matched against Protectors of Ayur. So
Okay,
what are
okay.
your thoughts on that team?
Uh, um, we had a Protector of Ours was the last team we've played this season, and if I remember correctly, it was quite close games. Like I think we won 2-0, but both games were quite intense. So I'm looking forward for those games. I'm sure they're gonna surprise us. I wouldn't be we gonna come in prepared because I remember they were a pretty strong team.
Yeah, and the fact that it's a best of 5 against them, do you think that's going to change a lot for the series?
Yeah, we got 2 or 3 players that need to go to bed early. So playing, let's say we play 5 games, it's gonna be super late for us because some of us work in the morning. So like games at 10 or 10:30, 11 p.m. It's quite late for some of us. So that might be a factor at some point. Being tired, right? Because we're all human. As much as I love to be a video game character, I'm still human behind that. So that might change a thing. And also, since the games were pretty close and tight, it could go either way. I think, especially in the 3 of 5, there's like more time to come back. Let's say. So that would be interesting for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And now to kind of talk a bit more about the playoffs, now that you have won, it is pretty interesting to see that the Div B East was a pretty close division, but
Mhm.
the top 4 teams were the top 4 seeds now. So the seed 4 beat seed 5, seed 2 beat seed 7, seed 3 beat seed 6, and just now you, the first seed, beat the 8th seed. So just a little fun tidbit. I didn't even have a question of that. I just noticed that and wanted to say it. But
Yeah.
on the
So it's
opposite side, it'll be Hot's dads versus brain cellmates. And I got 2 questions for you.
Yes.
One, who do you think will win that match? And 2, who do you want to win that match?
Oh, Hot's dads, I remember, were quite the fierce opponents. Same with Brain Cells, mate. But I don't know who's gonna win. It's gonna be a very interesting match. But I'd like for Brain Cells, mate, to win because 3 of the members were in one of my team way back. So I would love to take them again instead of playing with them, playing against them. That's gonna be that can be super fun.
Yeah.
So I'll be rooting for Brain Cellmate for sure.
All right. Well, then, my typical final question. Are there any shout outs you'd like to give? And is there anything you'd like to say to all your fans out there?
Et bien sûr, on va commencer par les shout-outs en français parce que c'est bien plus important. Merci à tous les joueurs du Québec de regarder le stream, de jouer à Heroes of the Storm. C'est vraiment un bon jeu. Je vous conseille fortement de continuer à y jouer. Shout out to my buddy Nate and Aaron from United States. If they're watching, shout out to you boys. And also, always a big thank you to you for casting our game. It's quite fun to have somebody to actually watch the game, enjoy casting them, and give a good show for everybody to enjoy this amazing game that is Heroes of the Storm.
Yeah, I mean, today's was pretty scuffed, but maybe if I end up picking up one of your semifinals or finals, could be fun to have that cast as well. But thank you so much for coming to this interview, and you have yourself a good night.
Hey, same for you. Thank you for having us.
Bye.
Bye.
But with that, we are going to be ending here. Let me double check. I believe there was another. Yeah, there is another series currently going on. So I'm just going to go ahead and raid over that way. If I can copy it anyway. So it is going to be Calamansi. I believe that's how it's pronounced. But it's going to be Witch Rhythm versus Pepegas on Ice Div C. So once this, in a couple minutes, I'll be sending you over there. Before I go, final shout out to HelloFresh. Be sure to use the panel down below or the link in the chat. Get 10 free boxes, applied discount. I don't remember the full spiel. I don't even have it open right now. Yeah, for 10 free meals and free add-ons for life. There we go. I always forget which one I'm selling because HelloFresh, I've had the sponsor many a time. I'm definitely going to have it many more times. It's a fantastic product. If you like a meal service, HelloFresh is a fantastic one. There's a reason why so many people try it and so many people use it even now. But either way, thank you all for watching. I will be casting again tomorrow night. Hopefully we'll see you there for Potential Scrim Thursday versus Boomer Gaming in the Heroic Division. But everyone, have a good night, and I'll see you over on Calamansi's channel.